again, as I continue on this path, I'm like always being surprised by, okay, what's gonna happen next? Um, so last night I was in bed and I believe that I was dreaming, or at least it was a really vivid dream, but it took place in my bedroom. So I was there in my bedroom, and all of a sudden there's this globe that is above my head. So I'm lying down, my face up, and there's this big transparent globe that appears, right? And then within this transparent globe, there's another globe in the transparent globe, and then there is in the inner globe static electricity moving around inside that inner globe. So it appears over my head, and then it goes into my third eye and loops around.
Wait, so the whole time your eyes were open,
Yes.
and how does it go into your third eye?
I believe my eyes were open. Or maybe it was really an immense, like immensely vivid dream, yeah? But it goes into my head. So I'm laying down, looking up, and it goes into my head. And
It just went inside.
it just goes inside. Yeah? And then it loops round and then comes back up again.
It loops inside of your head.
So so here's my head. It goes in, and I think it goes out the back of my skull, and then comes back around and goes back again to the top.
Okay, so like
And
your head is a part of the loop.
My head is a part of the loop. And it does it about 5 times.
What was the sensation when first time entered your head?
Expansion.
Expansion.
Yes.
That's good.
Like expansion and like
Good news.
I was like, wow, what is going on? What is this? But I felt fine. I felt I was calm. Definitely the energy was benevolent energy, whatever it was. It did that 5 times, and then I touched it. And I
With your
touched it.
hand?
Yes, I touched it with my hand. And
How weird is this? Is that nobody does this? Like having, like a glow in front of you. You're like a balloon.
but like that's just my nature. I'm very curious, and at this point, I mean, so many of these things have happened to me that it really doesn't move me that much. In a way, like I'm like just this is another interesting experience. So it has happened enough that I no longer have any I don't want to say any fear, but I'm more now at this stage willing to interact with these things.
You see it as
out of curiosity.
you see it as a invitation
To engage.
To engage.
Yes. So I touch the globe, and immediately it turns brown, just filled with brown. Like it becomes like a brown blob, and then like it does something, and then just disappears.
Wow.
And then in my head, I was like, "Oh wow!" And I at that point, I was really awake. It was hard to tell if I was dreaming and then I woke up, or I was just awake the entire time. I can't make that differentiation. But the first thing that came to my mind, wow, this is angelic. That was the first thing that popped in my mind. Angelic.
What does it mean?
From the angelic realm, so related to angels.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first thing that popped in my head, just because of how I felt in the moment.
Yeah.
And so angelic not only means from that angelic realm, angels per se, as we know of them, but other high dimensional beings could also be considered angelic as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean only angels. So yeah, that was interesting, and my intuition, what I picked up from that whole experience was, this is some activation or some clearing of whatever needs to be cleared.
Oh my god! what's happening to our life? I would just text you.
Yes.
That you know, like Luan saw a glowing figure in the kitchen right in front of me. I was actually standing here, and the figure was here.
Yeah.
And then he pointed at it, and I said, I see Papa.
Wow.
And I said, whoa, and I said, where is it? And he said, oh, Papa, you see him? Like, and he actually said those words originally. I consciously didn't lead him to use any words. And he said, Papa is in this golden glow.
Wow.
And then the information gets very mixed, and he first said like Papa was angry because his cup was broken, and then this morning he said, Papa, the glowing Papa was happy because he loves me.
Oh, wow.
So it was a bit mixed information.
Yeah.
But otherwise he never say such things. He's not someone who mixed up imagination with reality so much. I think he's quite grounded as a kid.
That's interesting.
I thought, he was never gonna have such experience because I had a lot as a child. And it was almost a burden because I was really alone with this experience. My parents didn't know what to do with it. And many years later, I'm reaching 40, I'm telling my mom that I'm doing past life regression. My mom's really happy for me. She said, when you were a kid, you were telling us all of those things. We don't know what to do with it. I'm so happy for you that you find a group of people to share those experiences with.
Wow. So you're really aligned with your path then. I mean, it's.
But for me, I never see any spirits. I never consciously maybe felt something, but I never consciously see any image except in my dreams, but not like when I'm in the waking state. And I was midnight. This mid of the day. It's 12 o'clock. It's sunny as this, and it's like the least place I would expect a ghost in the kitchen, in the sun, something like this. Yeah.
Wow, that is an experience.
But when you say there's a glow, I say, oh. It's Jacob.
But did he confirm that it was Jacob? I mean, he said Papa.
He said Papa, and I said maybe it's a different person. He said, no, it's Papa. No, it's Papa. He insists it's Papa.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
We still don't know what it means.
And what did Jacob say? Did you share it with Jacob?
Jacob thinks it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing too.
Okay.
We both feel good about this thing.
Yeah.
Jacob doesn't overinterpret, but he's open to take the experience as experience, and I think that's the way to go. Interpretation doesn't help us.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh. Yeah, I mean.
It's like you open up a door, and then another 10 doors open, and then another 10 unexplained mystical events happen to us that we don't have answer for.
It's like a chain reaction, right? We continue to do this work, and then, as you said, one door opens, then 5-10 more opens after that. I kind of expected to have that experience strangely, because yesterday I was in such a good state. Like, I went into the park and I did some meditation and some of my practices, some shamanic practices for a while in the park, and for some reason yesterday I felt really in a very good connected state, and my perception was very wide. Yesterday I was seeing a lot of things in my peripherals, a lot of flashes, a lot of orbs. So
orbs,
yes, little tiny
light
balls. And so I subconsciously, unconsciously, I expected something to happen last night. Maybe I brought it into fruition myself, but yesterday was a very strange day for me energetically. I was walking around just connected the entire day. Don't know what that means, but I think for the past, at least from the beginning of the year, for me, I feel like there has been a change in the energy that is coming onto the planet
I feel
at
like
this time.
Oh, you mean the planet energy, not your energy?
So I guess it's both in a way, right? So the energy that is coming on to the planet like affects our energy as well.
Mm.
But what I was referring to is like the energy that's coming onto the planet, like a different quality of energy. At least for me, it feels a bit more refined and a bit more focused. Um, and the funny thing for me is like after I came back from the jungle, um, I was expecting to have a really difficult time, like integrating
Right.
that experience because it was intense.
Like every time.
Like every
Yeah.
time. But I also had to immediately start going back into the office
Oh
three
yeah.
times a week, and I thought
Yeah.
that I would
So
dread
long.
it.
I know.
You know, I was not looking forward to it. I was like, oh my God, I have to go back to the office now three
Yeah.
times a week instead of working at home nearly the entire week. But to be honest, if I must be honest with myself, it hasn't been that bad. Actually, I think it has been a good thing.
Ground you.
Yeah, and get me out of the house, you know. Get me around other people,
Yeah.
you know.
Meet some normal human beings.
Yes, absolutely. So for me, I've been really on a high since I've got back from the jungle.
Oh, wow.
Really on a high. And I feel much more open, much more connected. And I feel like I'm ready to take the next step, you know, in my journey. Still, there's a lot of things that I want to do, but
Did you go to the biofeedback guy again?
biofeedback.
Yeah, the one with like measure your brainwaves.
Oh no, I haven't.
I remember back then that you already had a lot of gamma,
Mm-hmm.
which is super rare,
Yeah.
which is, you know, like which is already a, yeah, like it's a quite a evidence of your awareness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you've been high for so long. Your brainwave is gonna look like epilepsy.
I'm probably stuck in a high state the entire time. But I mean, we kind of create our own reality, right? So I mean, I know that there's a lot of turmoil, a lot of confusion right now in the world. But I decided, at least for myself, not to tune into any of that. I mean, I do keep myself up to date with the news and what's the latest that's going on, especially with
You do?
with the wars. I read the highlights.
Oh, okay.
That's it. I don't watch the news. I only read the highlights.
Okay.
Like,
You know more or less what's going on.
Exactly. I mean, I think that is the bare minimum for me.
Yeah.
The maximum for me is to just like know what the headlines are, just to keep myself informed. But typically, generally, I don't. I am in my own bubble.
Yeah.
You know, in my own routine. I try to. I think guard is a too strong of a word, but I try to guard my space
Input.
and my input. You know,
Yeah.
because it's very easy to be thrown off. You know, and I try to do what I can to remain in a high and aligned state. I mean, some people would probably look at me and say that I'm living in a dream world or that I'm disconnected from reality, but for me this is so much better than, you know, just being consumed by what is happening in the world.
I actually, you know, like I start to think it's you know it's we need to constantly test ourselves by looking at news, although I don't do that, but I start to see the point is to see if we're doing spiritual bypassing. If you can do your practice, have your bubble, do everything, but still not, you know, like avoid news, then you're not avoiding reality, not doing spiritual bypassing. Because you know we gather so much strength from things we do that we're capable of including this earthly experience.
Yeah, and that is important, you know. Of course, in a balanced state, meaning not too consumed by it, but to be able to to see what's going on, acknowledge what's going on, but then it not having extreme effect on your daily life. I think that's important.
Now through so many years of work, like I mean, mostly through working on myself, I started to also see much more causality. When I look at the suffering, from other people or on the news or as a country, I start to see so much more causality. It starts to make sense for me in a way. I feel like this is how it's supposed to be. This is the path. This is it's like almost like of course, of course, this government is gonna go down. Of course, people are gonna suffer. Of course, people are running away from your country. Of course, the tax goes high. It starts to feel like not like this. Like this. It's almost like every country has like a person. There's a course of development. There's a destiny, and you could see that much earlier, just to see what the country is doing. It's almost like karma.
Yeah.
Anyway, what did you do after the experience at night yesterday?
Nothing. I mean, I just
went back to sleep.
Yeah, I went back to sleep. Well, even though I couldn't sleep after that.
Too excited.
It was really a profound experience for me. Not sure I would say that I was excited, but I thought about it for a while.
How often do you experience such a profound experience?
I mean, outside of this shamanic training course, once or twice a month.
Yeah. And in the shamanic course, it's like every day.
The entire time we're there. The entire time.
What happened on this trip?
This is this is for another time. It is so much happened, but yeah, let's get into that. I'll get into it with you another time. We'll need like 3 hours to talk about that. I mean,
wow.
But in summary, it was really a beautiful experience for me to be in the jungle for almost a month with 20 other people that I'm somewhat close to. I wouldn't call all of them friends, but it's a really close group. And to just be in that environment without like the modern necessities, without electricity, without TV, without these things that we hold on to so dearly, and then on top of that, working with plant medicine and working with different shamans and doing different daily excursions. I mean, the entire first week we did a dieta, which is a 7-day cleanse of just we were only allowed to eat once a day, and it was soup, vegetable soup, and then we would drink different plant medicines, but in these plant medicines would just cause us to purge from both ways. So the entire 7 days we were purging.
Well, you must have lost so much weight.
Yeah, I did lose a lot of weight. But yeah, that entire time we were purging, and at the end of that purge, I was so clear. My mind was so clear. I felt so good. I think that's the best I've felt in a really long while. In terms of health wise and energy wise. Yeah. Even though I hadn't had super solid food for the last 7 days, but I still felt clear and really grounded as well. I mean, I think that's a byproduct of just being in the jungle for that long. And then after that, after the first week of the diet, after that week ended, then we went into the different plant medicine. So we had ayahuasca. We did a few ceremonies of ayahuasca. I think at least around 7 ayahuasca ceremonies. We did what is called wachuma. This is a cactus.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same like ayahuasca, but similar
effects.
Yeah. We had they did a lot of rapé, which is the tobacco that you that is blown into your nose.
Yeah, from the toads, right?
No, rapé is tobacco.
Yeah.
Grounded tobacco with different herbs.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought hape is the Australian the juice from Australian toads.
No.
It's also called hape.
Rapé, or maybe this is a different kind, but this is the like a tobacco that you blow into the nose. Yeah, it helps to ground you, and yeah, has a lot of different effects for you depending on the type of rapé. We did cambo. Cambo is the toad. Cambo is the toad venom. The toad excretion that is dried.
Yeah.
And then you apply it to the skin, burn little dots, and then you apply the medicine in the dots, and then that triggers a purge, a full body purge. Did that a few times. Yopo.
Just by listening to it, I feel like doing this.
I mean, we were all medicine down at the end of that month. I was like, okay, I need a break from medicine, but it was the entire trip in summer was just so profound. I mean, I had one specific ceremony, but again, this ceremony I needed 2 hours to kind of describe what happened, and I'm still integrating this experience. Like for me, having an experience where I was in communication with consciousness, universal consciousness, and I was given messages, and these messages were for me to share with the group. So imagine me in a ceremony speaking almost the entire ceremony and just having that kind of interaction, really a loving interaction with the other participants, and feeling this energy moving through my body, and feeling what it feels like to be unconditionally loved, and to share that love. That was just really profound for me. Yeah.
What about other people in the group? Were they listening, or were they also on their own trip?
I think it's such a personal experience. I believe most people were doing their own thing. But that is what I was guided to do. So I'm not sure the effect, if any, it had on any of the other participants, but that was kind of what was coming through for me, at least. But really, I was connected to universal consciousness in a very potent and direct way. Also speaking different languages while I'm having this connection.
Well, you really
multiple different languages.
You really need to talk to the other friend of mine that she's also having such spiritual, mystical experiences on a weekly basis, and every time she has it, there's no reference whatsoever. She couldn't find anyone on the internet who could have the same experience, and she described the state as not channeling, but really directly tapping into source consciousness. And she could really see it, experience it, how it is before source. She described it as a void, where consciousness is not existing yet, and then the universe, a source, come into place by the void start realizing itself. And she started to have those realizations, and she's writing a book over it.
And this is your friend that you told me about, Yvonne?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, all of these experiences, in a human body, it's really hard to comprehend what it all means.
Right.
but in that moment, you understand fully. You're fully submerged in the experience, and you understand what is going on. But once you come back, it's almost like, wow, what was that? What was that? But I mean,
she's also saying it's very hard for human mind to hold this because most of the information is not in words, in images, but beyond comprehension, and there's no way to. It's almost hard to hold with you need to do serious grounding for it.
and I think that was, I remember when I first had that experience, how taxing it was for my body. But now I see that I'm more able now to, it's still intense, but I am now more able to be a conduit for that energy without it like frying my circuit, in a sense, So I've seen that progression where the first time I had that experience, to now I'm much more able to have that energy pass through me. I mean, for example, when we did the first QHHT session, when I did my first session with you, it was also a very physical thing for me, and I would suspect at this point that it wouldn't be that physical for me.
It's about how to surrender into it.
Yeah. And also just getting used to that flow, because it's almost like, you're turning on a full tap through like a tiny straw. It takes time for you
It's
to be
like
able
telling a
to,
child too much about death, for example, like, or finding a job.
yeah. So with all these experiences that I've had, now I feel like I'm much more grounded in the experiences. Like this ceremony that I was telling you about, that was probably the most, and I've had some very intense ceremonies. That was probably the most intense, but I was able to bounce back within a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder how other people in your group are doing it, because as I imagine, to do this shamanic training, not just you need to have the mindset, but that you also need to seriously do your own inner work.
Yes.
And if you don't have your inner work done, it's even harder to hold a space without becoming psychotic. And and I know you. I know you're on the way. I know you're able to hold a space.
Yeah.
But what about other people in a group? Like, definitely not everyone is ready for such experiences. Do they just have less of the experience, or do they?
Yeah. So
on the way.
I think for the participants, for the people in my group, we've been training together for over a year. So for my group, I think most of the people there have done, some of their inner work, and they are familiar with the medicine enough to know how to work with it and how to benefit from it. So yeah, not everyone has the same experience on plant medicine. Like my experience is very specific. This is what I expect to happen, and usually this is what happens. Not all the time, but I know how my system works with the medicine, and likewise for the next person. After 1 year of doing it, you're like, okay, this is what I need to expect. And, this is how I will be when I go into a process. And I think we are at the point now where we all can manage our own processes. So it's very rare for a group like the group that I'm in, for any of the participants to lose control. It's still possible, but it's at this point in our training, we have the tool set to be able to kind of manage to some extent the experience. On the other hand, now what you mentioned about about the inner work, for me, I would never advise anyone to do plant medicine. I think it's very much a personal decision.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely a personal decision because yeah, it has its risks, especially if you're not especially if you have a lot of shit going on and you have a lot of trauma, and as you said,
Yeah.
you haven't even started to acknowledge
Yeah.
those traumas and take the necessary steps to kind of clean them out, right? So plant medicine is not fix it all. You can't just expect that, yeah, I'm gonna go do ayahuasca and then tomorrow I'm gonna be great and ready to go and all my trauma is gonna be cleared. Ayahuasca shows you what you need to work on. And then it shows you, and then for me personally, it magnifies it by 1,000. So anything that is deep and dark
Right.
usually becomes much deeper and much darker while you're in the process, right? So, and of course, we still all have these deep subconscious traumas that maybe we're not aware of.
Right.
And that's where ayahuasca is helpful because it brings those to the top. But imagine a person going into a ceremony with just a shitload of trauma, a shitload of drama from the office, drama in personal life. Then that is just all going to bubble up during the ceremony, and it comes up so magnified that it can be really intense. I mean, I've had intense experiences to the point where I felt like I wasn't going to come back. And it was not even traumatic experiences. It was very enlightening experiences, but it was just so powerful that I felt like I was losing pieces of myself. So I can only imagine, knock on wood, I can only imagine, the people who've had like intense traumatic experiences, how that could potentially have a extended effect on them and the quality of their lives. So for me, plant medicine is a personal decision. I mean, I think plant medicine is amazing. It's one tool that we can use to do the work that we need to do while we're here. But as well, there are other options as well, So yeah, for me, I wanted to try ayahuasca since I was probably 14, 15. So I know that somewhere deep down, it was kind of like on my path. I always wanted to try it. So for me, this is what works, but it's not the only thing that I do, like I do a lot of meditation, I also do a lot of the work, the real work that needs to be done, observe my thoughts, observe my interactions, try to really look at them and say, okay, is this something that I could have done or said differently? Really being an objective observer of my life. And I think that for me is what has changed my life the most. Just being able to look at myself like objectively and say, okay, that's not nice. You need to clean that shit up.
But you haven't really, do like a conventional like a therapy digging into those topics with someone consciously, right?
I have. I went to a therapist for a few years.
That's serious work.
Yeah. But very, very base level. Talking
you have
about
to start from somewhere. So I realize with all the clients who get the most out of KHT and get the most out of ayahuasca are also the ones who first did the conventional therapy. Because, like let's say this person we all carry a lot of shit with us. And then you first go to conventional therapy, they clean up the surface, right? At least there's a stop loss. It doesn't get worse anymore. Doesn't escalate anymore further. and then you can use a microscope, like hypnosis, like energy healing. Okay, then you could do a little bit deeper, because all the sensations, all the traumas get probably 10 times, 20 times bigger. You can look at everything really, really closely. Where does this come from? And you're like, what the fuck? How ugly this looks. And then when you come to plant medicine, it's really like fine tuning.
Yeah.
It's really like fine tuning. So you have the most work done, and you're just using your finger and touching every corner and see if any dust. And if you see a dust, it becomes really, really huge.
Yeah. But you really have to be willing to go there, though. I think that's the start. Be willing to go there.
I know a lot of people who actually did ayahuasca with no intention, basically. They try to catch a train. I think they're really lucky. Most of them, nothing happened to them. They just didn't get much out of it. Really, nothing happened. They were just puking. Afterwards, they come back and rest for a week.
Yeah. But not every ayahuasca ceremony is gonna have a profound. Is gonna leave you with a profound experience or a profound process. Like there are some times when I'm in ceremony and nothing happens, but the medicine is still working, really on a deeper level. So yeah, sometimes you go into the ceremony and nothing happens. You take the medicine and you're like, okay, you go to bed, you fall asleep. That has happened to me a few times. So, but I think the most important thing is, one of the most important things is to find the right group.
I realize that deeply too, about this therapy as well. It's all about the person who is leading you the trip. If you're in a group setting, it's all about the group's atmosphere. No matter how good the technique is, how good the room, the environment is, if it's around people, then it's not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah, you need experienced facilitators, trained facilitators with a lot of integrity. Someone that can knows what they're doing, so they can hold the energy of the space, which is very important. Because that is how the medicine does its work. It's on an individual level, but the space is also extremely important to be able to move and to be able to guide and to be able to just have a grasp of the space and the energy that's within the space. And that's where these shaman and these experienced facilitator, this is where this is the most important, one of the most important aspects of like having a ayahuasca ceremony.
I remember 1.5 years ago, we were sitting in a Chinese restaurant and eating pig feet, and you were saying you're going to do this shamanic training, and it's like really like extended program for 2 years, and you need to travel everywhere in the world, apart from the full-time job you were doing, and it's expensive as well. I feel like, what the hell? What? Start somewhere easy, do something at home, do an online course first, whatever. But it sounds like a huge commitment from your side, and you made the decision just like that.
Yeah, I felt called to do it.
And turns out it's really the thing. Turns out it really sounds like it's such a like a profound journey.
And now it's getting closer to the end, and I'm like, okay, what next? What can I get into next? But yeah.
You need to start, like facilitate like sessions for us, like, normal people.
Yeah.
You don't need to keep training anymore.
Let's see. So shall we begin our photo shoot?
Yes.
Perfect.